All right, so we have the 2-inch pipe that is going to be used for the fuel filler neck. 2-inch pipe?
1.5.
1.5-inch pipe. 1.5-inch OD pipe that's going to be used for the fuel filler neck. And we're going to 45 it like so, and then weld a couple barbs on here so that we can put the fuel filler hose on it. All right, Pat just got this all cleaned up, and effectively that's what the fill tube is going to look like that. And then it's going to go over to my gunnel. All right, get this welded up. All right, so I just pressure washed this. Well, I more or less pressure washed myself, but it's clean now and dry and ready for the top or the bottom plates to be welded on. And then for here, here, and here is gonna be plug welds. All right, the
See, I just had this image of Mike
tank is done.
taking that thing and just going, like, flinging it all over the garage and then running.
Flinging poo and run. I swear to God. All right, so it is exactly how it's going to be in the jet boat. It's all tacked together and just needs to be fully welded. It is beautiful. All right, so I am going to start tackling getting the boat elevated, pulling the trailer back out, and then leaf over swapping or leaf under swapping this. And I will try to keep the camera in a static location so that the height difference is easily viewable. Alright, so in the last video, I got a couple comments about the way in which I was welding, and some good advice, and it's definitely helped out a good bit. So I don't know if that's zooming in there, but basically what I was told is scrape your material properly, turn down your wire feed for the voltage that you were doing, and have a little more control over the tip and get it closer. And yeah, his advice made a world of a difference. Slow progression, but progression on the least. All right, I'm gonna turn this into plates for brackets that are gonna be you know, that thick. They're gonna get mounted in the base of the boat for where the seat mounts are gonna go. So it's gonna be that bracket that I'm building right there, rubber isolation mounts that go into the bracket, and then the fuel cell, and then more rubber isolation brackets that the seats are gonna mount to, and then the seats. So seats, isolation, tank, isolation, boat. Okay, the boat is lifted up. Chris just loosened the leaf spring. We're gonna undo the axle here, slide the whole axle forward, and then in between the leaf spring and the frame, we're gonna slide the axle back through so that it's the least amount of work.
Flipped over.
All right, so the leaf under is done, and as you can see from the video here, the leaf is under the axle. So we have brought the wheel center line up higher on the axle. The dilemma though is now that the tires are higher on the axle, you can see that the tires actually hit these fender mounts. So we're cutting those off now. The trailer is now lowered. It has about 2.5 to 3 inches worth of suspension travel, and you can see the windscreen sits almost level with the back of my truck. It is a good bit lower, so it should make launching it pretty easy. And I actually used a 5 1/4 inch drop hitch in order to get everything correct. All right, gonna take this to Pat's, and this will be the final day of the fuel cell as it's all tacked up. All right, the fuel cell is done. Looking very good. plug welds. It's nice and flat. We are going to pressure test it at 2 psi right now, just to make sure that everything holds, so that before we put fuel in it in the boat, there's no pinholes with fuel leaking out. All right, here is pressure testing it. You get all the orifices closed off. You get a supply line. You get your pressure regulator set at 3 or 4 psi to 3. Then you take soapy water and go around all of the welds. And as you can see right there, we have a leak. So we marked it, and we're just gonna continue going around the perimeter of the thing and figure out all the leaks. All right, Scalera is extending the fuel pump wiring harness. Beautiful. All right, Pat was able to just get this all re-tigged up for the holes that we found. Oh my God. We're gonna re-pressure test it and then see where the holes are again. Okay, this has turned out amazing. Now we're to the point where we need to build the standoffs that allow for these AC isolation bump stops to go in between the tank and the stringers. So we're gonna just start on that now. And what that's gonna look like is something like this. Maybe? Yeah, something like this. All right, we'll get started on that now. All right, so we are gonna take the data communications rack aluminum, data communications rack number 7 aluminum, and and notch out the C-channel portion of this across 27 inches, so that we basically just have a C-channel on the outside, and then this flat bar is going to go to the bottom of the tank, so that whenever the forces are being exerted down, it doesn't want to pull it like this. They'll have something connected to keep it all fixed. We're going to use plasma cutter to cut this out now.
60 minutes of fuel cell.
Okay, so this is what I was talking about with the notching the bottom of this out. So then this will sit flat in here, and then fill the gap there, and then any forces that are pushing down that are ultimately going to make this want to go that way will be pulling against this long strap of aluminum, so that the force downward is distributed across this piece. And got the fuel cell complete. Got the tabs poked off the front here. Got the plate that I'm gonna drill and tap tonight. The seat is in its perfect location. Everything has turned out nice. So, gonna get all this situated, get an inline fuel filter, because there's still a good bit of shavings on the inside of the tank that I don't want to plug my injectors with. And yeah, this is almost done. All right, this turned out fantastic, but the only thing left to do is put these little rubber isolator pads in between the bracket and the stringer. I've already drilled and tapped the stringer, so now I just have to put these in between. So I got to drill a hole down the center of this to you know, somewhat locate it, and then it's going to elevate the tank by 1/2 inch. So get that done real quick. Holy freaking fuel cell. This thing is now done. It has been quite a process getting it there, but it is, it's actually better than I thought it would be. turned out really nice. The isolation pads are in place. Actually, it's probably best if I just summarize because this video was a bit hectic with jumping around and whatnot. We started out by doing a leaf under swap under the trailer here, so that we could lower the approach angle of the trailer and the boat, because I anticipate launching this in some not ideal areas. So lower the boat. We got the plates made for the fuel cell mount up here in the front, where the bolt is gonna went into. That was 3 1/8 inch plates welded together. We got the fuel cell finished up. We got the fuel pump wiring harness extended right there. We got a fuel filter installed because there's a good bit of nonsense still in the tank, and I just want to keep my fuel injectors from getting plugged up. What else? I think that's about it. The fuel cell being the highlight of this being done. Now I can, now I'm able to get the seats located in here and the bulkhead installed. And as you can see, it's there's about 1/2 inch gap between where the bulkhead is and the location of the fuel cell. So that'll allow for a small amount of gap between the bulkhead and the fuel cell. And you'll still be able to remove everything because serviceability is key with this build. So, yeah, next video is probably gonna be putting seats in and taking her for another rip. All right, that concludes this.